Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Trainz 2022. I've had a couple of my buddies ask me to do a video, so I'm gonna do a video. They wanted me to do it live. I don't know why, but my NVIDIA overlay doohickey is not wanting to play right with YouTube or vice versa. Not sure which one doesn't want to play, but they're not wanting to play well together, so doing live videos right now is kind of out of the question until I can figure out what's going on. So for the time being, I'm just gonna have to pre-record. But they wanted to see what I have done with the DB and EV and how I've gone about merging stuff to it, as well as modifying those mergers to work relatively smoothly. So that's what we're going to do today, as well as some editing, some tinkering, stuff of that nature. Why the DB and EV, one might ask? Well, it's already set up for merging. You have the main line, you have the Conrail main line over here, boogity boogity boogity, over at Esopus, that goes one way. It's a twin track, and either way it's got a decent sized yard. It's perfect for expanding off of for mainline services and using the DB and EV as just another branch off that mainline service. And then we have the Hudson and Western addition, which I did a video on a short while ago. This is an addition that is meant to go to the DB and EV, so you already have to play around with some merging and editing, because the route's supposed to go with it. And then if you want the route to look right and proper, you'll have to edit the Hudson and Western to fit the time period and fit the look of the rest of the DB and EV, depending on the era that you're shooting for. So that's 3 points of merging already, which I have already played with over here. At this end of the Conrail mainline area, I have gone and added, what is this route? New England Heritage, maybe? It's a scenic heritage railroad that was done by Appalachian Mountain Works, Appalachian Whistle Works, somebody like that, if I remember correctly. It's a now defunct group. I think they used to have a 45-ton switcher that was really an awesome asset, and then they just kind of fell by the wayside. So I don't know that this route is available to people anymore, but it happened to line up just right for this, so it's a perfect other little branch line to come off the Conrail line, shooting for that Appalachian Mountain style railroading, where there's a lot of single track mains running along riverside, lots of little coal branches and whatnot with passing sidings. So that's what I aimed for here. And I gotta figure out what I'm gonna use to expand off that way to continue the main line, but for now this just includes a an extension over here, another branch, so to speak. And then off of the Appalachian Mountain, the Appalachian Heritage route, up here on the end, I also merged the Redwood Meadow Scenic Heritage Railroad, I think is what it is. Where did this come from? This is another one of those old routes that I got a lot of fun out of. I just can't for the life of me remember where it came from. It's another older route. It's kind of lined up real perfect for that too. But you'll end up with places like this whenever you do merging, where height difference is going to play, scenery difference is going to play, texture difference is going to play, and you'll have to figure out how to merge it to look alright. Now this won't be too terribly hard. The redwood meadow is already a mountainous route, so we'll just smooth out all of this right here to kind of blend in with the rest of the mountain, and then I'll probably do a mass asset swap. Gosh, I wish I could just straight up delete a lot of the trees on this route. It would be quite helpful. I don't know, but you can mass asset swap so that you end up with the same kind of base scenery and whatnot, but that is a future problem whenever I can get this all lined up the way I want it to be. But you'll end up with places like this down here at the end of the DB and EV, and then the addition of the Appalachian Heritage route, where you gotta combine the routes. You gotta find where it'll fit, snap it together, and then when you go to merge it, I'll try merging a different route onto here in a minute, just so we can kind of play with what you have to do to get it to work the way it's supposed to. You will also have to bear in mind what route you're using, where you intend to merge it. You may need to add an extra baseboard because it may need that much room to connect the two or merge the scenery and whatnot. In this case, it wasn't too bad. The track here in the original map comes over here, so I just simply twisted it a little bit more to run through the forest there a little bit. We'll just have to modify right here to keep the river, push the river out that way. But like I said, not terribly hard there. I don't believe, yeah, I haven't added anything else. That's just the 3 that I've merged thus far. So let's come over here. Let me delete that. We don't want that on there. So let's try a merge. Let's try a merger. Let's pick a route. New River Valley Railroad. That's what that other merger is. The New River Valley Railroad. And then the Redwood Meadow Scenic Railroad. That's the 2 I've used so far. You know what? This one might be fun. I know it's a technically it's a proper prototypical short line scenic railroad, but it might be kind of fun to include this somewhere. Let's see. If I remember right, that is where the railroad ends, so we might need to attach it down here. Bearing that in mind. Up here might be a good place for it. The W and K and S includes a lot of free space here, so I won't need to add any extra baseboards, I don't think. I wish I could rotate routes. That is something you might be able to. I don't know. Those of you that are a little bit smarter with scenario editing and whatnot, let me know if that's possible, because that would be so freaking handy. Because sometimes the route that I want to merge with something really would go nicely, but it's twisted the wrong way. I would much rather be able to attach this end over here to this end, but I don't know. Eh. One would think the R key would be what would rotate it, but that does not seem to be the case. So, actually, you know what? There's that little extra branch. Where was that? Right there. On the original DB and EV, that's like a MOW track. And then what's left goes off into the unknowns. So maybe, obviously we'll have to change the ground texture to match a little bit around here so that it can blend into the WKNS. But that is situated to make a nice little bit of curvature right there. So I like it right there. I think that'll work. Give us a little extra track room to play with for whatever reason. I don't know. That'll kind of argue with that though. Huh. We didn't plan this out. Now this is, this route I wanted to be able to twist as well, because I did want it down here going that way, but oh well. As life goes. It's fine. We're using the video for testing it anyway, so if I don't like it, I can just go back and try merging. So you'll also have to merge your root layers. A lot of people that build professional routes, like the DV and EV, they use different layers so that if they need something moved or gotten rid of or just kind of hidden, you can pick what layer you're working with, and everything else will disappear off the route for the time. Really, really, really handy when you're trying to get in close to like buildings and whatnot, so that you don't keep clicking on the building itself. You can put the building on a building layer and then hop over to like a super detail layer, and it'll erase all the buildings off the map. And you can, like, as long as you got a good memory, if you got a good memory, you can place things around that building, up next to it and whatnot, to make it look busy. But you'll have to merge your root layers and all your other layers. So I just find root layer. Everything's good. Send it. And we wait. And look at there. That was pretty quick. Hop on over to here to the WKNS. And it should show up right here. Now again, we're going to have to play with it to get this correct. Obviously, we'll have to do away with the bike trail, or move the bike trail, so that the MOW track can continue up the river right here. Now, I don't think the river itself will be... the river might be a pain to try to hide. Maybe I didn't think this through too well. That's okay. On the... there's a river on the WKNS. It's right there. Yeah. Might give me an opportunity for a bridge, too. Tracks on one side. Yeah. Seems an opportunity for a bridge scene. So on the WKNS, if I remember right, the actual history on the WKNS is it's part of an old Reading branch line? Question mark? Not sure. Reading Mainline? But it's a little scenic railroad that's like completely disconnected from the world as far as railroading goes. Like there's no connection on either end. It just kind of goes up here and ends out in a field. It was, if I remember right, it was supposed to go further, and somebody's house happens to be dead square in the way. So they built this far, and that's that. But it does make for a cute little heritage railroad, little scenic railroad. They got a fun little tank locomotive that K&L did up for it, but if we go back this way, this part of the route is not really used. You can use it for like storage and whatnot, but other than that. So it does give the opportunity for expansion if one wanted to. Which we do. So our track ends somewhere back in here. We'll have to get rid of all the trees and whatnot. And then we'll have to dig our river to merge with that river. And then luckily, where our routes merge, the mountain size difference is not too terribly noticeable until we come out over here. Out here is where the DB and EV kind of turns into farmland. So we'll have to do some playing with this. Shouldn't be too terrible, I don't think. But that is how you merge a route. So that, that gets the big thing out of the way. People have asked, how do I merge it? Well, that's how you merge it. The rest of it's just figuring out where you want things. Let's see. I've heard a lot of people talk about Eagle River getting merged to the DB and EV and making a real fun route. Where would Johnny go? Bing, 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 ding, ding. Whoa! Actually. Yet another prime example of if I could turn this route. The ocean here would go, it would make so much sense with that. Oh well. I tried this before, and I couldn't figure out where a good merge point for this route would be. Typically I build off of right here if I modify the Eagle River. I guess it could, if I had thought that out a little better, but I didn't. I don't think about what I do what about I think. Switchback area here, which could make for some interesting operations, but again, it's kinda doesn't make much sense. I had also toyed with the idea of expanding on Eagle River back here where this big coal mine is. As far as the route lore itself goes, it kind of makes more sense, seeing as it's like one of the largest yard on the route. This whole area right here is kind of where the route's based out of, so it kind of makes sense to connect that to somewhere. Maybe right there is not a bad idea. Add a baseboard there, curve that through. Layer, bam, bam, and bam. Let's see what happens. This might take a minute since it's large and well detailed as well. Look at there, it worked. Oh goodness. Frame rates, what are those? This is one of those spots that won't make any sense at all. Oh, maybe I lied. There's a track ad over here. Hidden? Hidden. Can't see it. The mountains are in the background. Ooh. Color change isn't wildly noticeable, but yeah. Be over here. I see, said the blind man. The roads on the DB or on the Eagle River seem to have not downloaded correctly. Of course they didn't. Why would they? It's always got to be a hiccup somewhere. That's okay. That's a future me problem. Boogity, 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 boo. Woof. That's a height change. So somehow we gotta take this and get it up to here. Oh, that's interesting. Super elevation. Huh. You know what? I'm still trying to learn these Surveyor 2, so let's come over to the good old-fashioned antiquity. Let's get our vertex height. 120.77. Boogity boogie boogity. God, that's trippy. It's showing that road as a track. I don't know why. So 120 down to 44. Woof. $120 down to 44. That's a heck of a gradient change. So we gotta climb 76 feet. From here and here. So it's gonna require some play. Boink. This is okay. I'll deal with the height difference later. Okay, what kind of track is this? Boom. Sphere, giggles, and squiggles. We'll start building through the mountain. Just because it's Trainz and I can. It looks ridiculous, I know, but it also gives me curves to play with. And then we come over here, get vertex height, bang, bang, bang. And this gets us up to altitude at least. Oh, I'm an idiot. You know what I could have done? Yeah, what a... That's okay. I've never been accused of being the smartest person in the world. Control Z. Control Z our way all the way back. I didn't just get rid of my square. Nah, cool. Okay. We want, oh goodness, that's gotta be a heck of a gradient. Three? Let's try three. Let's see what we get. Where's it at? There it is. See, with it being a logging railroad, steep gradients are not particularly weird to think about. Just a matter of finding which gradient's going to get us up to where we need to be right there and not look ridiculous doing it. And we can also bear in mind that this is a long stretch right here that we can add a gradient to. That 3% is not even remotely close. Oh well. Well, I do have to go, so hopefully that gives you guys a little bit of information with root merging and playing around with your editor and the struggles and troubles involved with merging roots. You end up with situations like that where you gotta figure out where to connect it, how to connect it, why to connect it, all that fun stuff that can prove to be a bit of a headache. So sometimes, you know, the track lines up fairly well height-wise, like here. Other times we got that. So bear that in mind, but it is really quite simple to merge the route itself. Spend, you know, a couple hours getting your track right, merging the scenery and whatnot, and bam, you have included a new portion to your route. So anyways, hope you guys found the video informative, informational, helpful, whatever one may want to call it. And videos like this are desired, let me know, and I will shoot more videos of whenever I sit down to edit and play around with the roots. So, anywho's, next time.